all respectively, the only draft class to produce two quarterbacks to win multiple Super Bowls. So Sunday, they're having a little reunion tour in the Steel City. Here are both quarterbacks on the matchup.
Obviously, the same draft, the same years. We played this game for a long time. Other than a mutual respect, I respect him and his game and what he's brought to the game of football.
You always want your kind of your quarterback draft class to be well thought of and respected down the road. I think you kind of hear about the '83 class, you hear about certain years you want to kind of be thrown in that mix someday. And so but besides that, haven't seen him a whole lot outside of football, off the field or pass. Haven't crossed too much. So, but again, I have a lot of respect for him and his game.
Max?
Yeah.
This one's serious.
Yeah.
All fandom aside.
Yes.
If you had one game to win,
mm-hmm.
who would you rather have, Big Ben or Eli?
With one game?
One game on the line.
That one's easy. I thought it was going to be a hard one. Like, figure out a way to really argue that Eli's better than Big Ben. Then I have my work cut out for me. With one game on the line? Is this a trick question? It's Eli Manning. Not just over Ben Roethlisberger, over every quarterback who ever lived. It's Eli Manning. And don't take my word for it. Stephen A. Smith, are you familiar with the work of Nate Silver of 538.com?
Yes, I'm very familiar with him. He had a good year, 2008, maybe to a good degree, 2012.
A good year?
Not so good in 2016.
Excuse me.
Well,
Nate Silver had a better year than anyone else in 2016 when he told everyone.
Well, everybody was awful. That's like that.
Everyone else
gave
Trump a 1 to 5% chance. Nate Silver warned everyone there's a lot of volatility in the polls.
Here we go.
He has about a 1 in 3 chance to win. If you were paying attention to Nate Silver, you would know much more about what's going on than if you were paying attention to anyone else. And Nate Silver did a study last year.
I like Nate Silver.
Right here. I have it right here.
Great that time.
Here. See?
Oh, great.
Here's the evidence.
Got it, the study.
The most clutch postseason quarterback of all time. And he went through his various brilliant methodology that helps predict, like, every Senate seat ever. And he came to the conclusion that the answer was Eli Manning. But it was Eli Manning by so much he didn't trust his methodology. He said there's no way that Eli could, talking about postseason quarterbacks, could be that much more clutch than everyone who's ever lived. It doesn't make sense. Let me redo my methodology to siphon out all the Trent Dilfers of the world, good quarterbacks who raised their game, but not really franchise-level quarterbacks. Let me redo it and see what happens then. And when he did it, to be fair, it was much closer. And Joe Montana was the second most clutch quarterback of all time. And Eli Manning was still the first. He is the most clutch quarterback in the history of the NFL playoffs. And by some ways of looking at it, it's not close. Ben Roethlisberger, way down the list. Last I checked, he was 15. I don't know how much that changed from last year. So all the chips on the line, one game. You made it easy for me, Eli Manning.
Max Kellerman, first of all, we respectfully disagree. And I'm going to say respectfully because I love me some Eli Manning. I'm a native New Yorker. He's a 2-time Super Bowl champion. I ain't got nothing but love for him.
I love me some Roethlisberger, too, by the way.
But I got you. But let me get to this point because you appreciate numbers. Here's the deal. Do you know that Ben Roethlisberger has thrown the football in his professional career 5,796 times?
Very happy for him.
You know how many times Eli Manning has thrown the football?
No, not offhand.
6,640.
A lot more responsibility, huh?
Wait a minute. He's thrown the football nearly 1,000 times more than Big Ben Roethlisberger. Now, I understand that Eli Manning has had great moments, no question about it. But at the same time, let's also understand he's led the league in interceptions 3 times. Let's also understand that he's thrown for 16 or more interceptions in a season 6 times, whereas Big Ben Roethlisberger has only done that 3 times. Let's be clear about something here. When you look at Eli Manning, he does tend to be more mistake-prone. That is a fact.
Except when it matters most.
Obviously, the numbers prove it. I asked you not to interrupt me. Did I not just ask you that? I thought I asked you that, right? So the point that I'm trying to tell you is this. Big Ben Roethlisberger has been to 3 Super Bowls. Eli's been to 2. They both got 2 Super Bowl championships. Eli is a big-time quarterback. I'm not taking anything away from him. I got a lot of love for him. I had the pleasure of interviewing him on several occasions when I was working at ESPN New York. The dude's a special person, and he's a 2-time Super Bowl champion. But if I got to bet my money on one game, I'm going to go with Big Ben Roethlisberger because I think Big Ben Roethlisberger can do the things that Eli can do with his arm. He does more with his legs. He does more to evade oncoming rushers. I'm just saying he's Big Ben Roethlisberger. He can shrug you off. I dare say that I think at times he has come across as a bit more dependable than Eli.
Yeah, well, over the course of a season, you have a good case. But for one game, I want to talk about the Green Bay Packers for a second. Who's the greatest quarterback in their history, would you say?
For me?
Yeah.
You talking? I mean, for me, it's Aaron Rodgers.
Right.
It ain't Brett Favre.
Tough to beat Aaron Rodgers at Lambeau, right? In the playoffs, Eli went into Lambeau and beat Aaron Rodgers in the playoffs. Kind of like the way he went into Lambeau and beat Brett Favre in the playoffs. Kind of like I've
seen Big Ben grow into Baltimore and beat the Ravens. I've seen him go into hostile confines and win football games.
Lambeau in the playoffs.
I'm just telling you.
Did you ever see him play Tom Brady and beat him twice and outplay him twice and win?
I've seen him outplay Tom Brady.
While we're on the subject, Bart Starr is one of only 5 quarterbacks to win 2 Super Bowl MVPs. I know Ben Roethlisberger's won 2 championships. Bart Starr is one. Terry Bradshaw is another. Joe Montana is another. Tom Brady is another. And Eli Manning is another. 2 Super Bowl MVPs. Once by beating Tom Brady in an 18-0 season to that point in a game that was supposed to be the coronation of the greatest team in the history of American team sports, and Eli comes through and wins the day.
Hold on. Pump the brakes, Giants fan. As a Giants fan, now, I just, before we did the show today, I was chilling out on Good Morning America with my man Michael Strahan. I'm sure you remember that name, don't you?
You're
gonna sit here and talk to you're gonna sit here and act like Strahan and that pass rush that was all over Tom Brady all night long. That's Eli Manning's the reason they won that Super Bowl instead of that Giants defense. I'm just saying, I'm not taking anything away from Eli Manning, but I'm saying you're gonna sit here and act like Eli Manning's the reason they won that Super Bowl. That's where you going?
Roethlisberger won the Super Bowl by himself. According to the voters, Eli had more to do with his 2 Super Bowl wins than Roethlisberger, which is why he got 2 Super Bowl MVPs. I don't give a damn what the voters say. That's the difference between me and you. I could care less what they say. Let me tell you something right now. I watched the Patriots and that high-powered offense with Randy Moss and Tom Brady all day long. And I saw what that Giants do. Hold on. I saw what that Giants defense did to that offense. Don't talk to me about Eli. I appreciate Eli Manning, but don't talk to me about it. With 5 dudes on him, throw the pass to Tyree?
That the guy caught on his helmet? That one? Tyree?
By the way, that wasn't the game winner. That was the touchdown pass to Plex. That was the game winner.
I know that. Who was basically wide open from 5 yards away. I get it.
You want to argue that Roethlisberger's had the better career?
Hold on. Was that pass from Eli? I'm sorry, was that pass from, I'm talking about the Eli touchdown pass to Plexico Burress.
Yes,
was that better than Big Ben Roethlisberger to Santonio Holmes?
No.
Was that better?
Santonio Holmes, that was one of the great passes of all time. Below the Manningham and Tyree passes, but one of the great of all time.
You just brought up a great pass.
If you want to argue,
and now you want to dismiss it.
You want to argue Roethlisberger's career over the course of a season, anything. If you're talking about for one game, the answer over everyone who ever lived is Eli Manning. People don't have to deal with that.
I respectfully disagree. I don't have to deal with that. Regardless of what your eyeballs, your shirt, and your new crew cut haircut tells me to do. I don't have to concede that. I don't have to concede that, Max Kellerman. I'm going to hold on to my belief. That's what I believe.
Okay, Stephen A., I have one question for you, and then we'll end on this. You said Big Ben Roethlisberger is more dependable, correct?
Well, I think that he's more dependable.
Okay. Yes or no? Did you say that yes or no?
In a minute.
Yes.
You said yes. But you're parsing it like that. Yes, go ahead.
How many games has Eli Manning missed? How many starts?
Eli Manning is Mr. Dependable. He never misses a game.
Never. And what's the best ability? Availability.
But that's not what I was talking about.
No time, sorry.
But that's not what I was talking about.
Sorry,
that's not what I was talking about. But that's okay.
Sorry,
2 Giants fans. I got it. My bad. My bad. 2 Giants fans. My bad. My bad.
We want to hear from you guys on Twitter. If you had one game to win, which quarterback would you like to have? Eli Manning or Ben
one journalist up here.
We'll share those results a little later in the show. Sorry, spitting facts. Coming up next, Karl Anthony Towns outdueled Porzingis, but which big man would you take moving forward? You may be surprised. to hear these answers, trust me. And later, the Seahawks haven't forgotten about last year. You don't want to miss what Richard Sherman has to say about the Panthers' struggles this season.